Now, so this is Ilchot Roseach. We're Perek Aleph Halakha Tet. You have Halakha Tet. What we're dealing with today is the laws of Rodef and how it's a mitzvah. If you see, for example, Reuven, this is a basic premise of the law, but we're gonna look at some interesting permutations and consequences of the law. But the basic premise of the law is that if Reuven is chasing Shimon and is going to kill Shimon, it is permissible to save Shimon's life, even if it's necessary to kill Reuven, right? So normally, of course, we don't believe in vigilante justice. Normally, it is forbidden to execute some sort of personal vendetta or some sort of punishment against someone. That has to be done by the court, not by individuals. But here in the case of Rodef, the idea is you're saving somebody's life. So to save somebody's life, it's permissible. So that's the basic premise of today's class. Right? So Harezo Misvat Harezo Misvat Lo Ta'aseh Shelo L'chos Halev Shel Rodef. What it means is that it is forbidden to have mercy on the one chasing down another. So again, there's a Rodef. Rodef in Hebrew means somebody's chasing, right? And there's a victim, or somebody who's running away for his life. So you say, oh, I feel bad, haram, I don't want to hurt the person, even though I see that he's chasing somebody else, but I shouldn't hurt him. It's Isur Deoraita. We have an obligation to save lives. So I'm going to deal with a few different contexts. The first context is, and this is what we're going to study now, so go to Halakha Tet. Lefichach horu hachamim. The hachamim had the following instruction. Sheha'ubara shehi maksha leled. Let's say you have a pregnant lady, and she is giving birth. She's having difficulties. Mutar lachtoch ha'ubar b'me'eha ben besam b'meyad. It's permissible to abort the baby. Meaning, you would say that the baby is alive, it has life, and why should you prefer the baby over the mother? But in this case, from a legal perspective, the baby is considered the rodef, even though it's doing so unwittingly, but the baby is bringing about the death of the mother, right? So this is an explicit case in Jewish law where abortion is allowed. It's allowed to save the mother's life, right? I don't think that I don't think there's any states in the U.S. where they would say that abortion is restricted, even in the case of saving the mother's life. I don't think that's ever the case in the U.S. But certainly abortion in this case in Jewish law is allowed. Ben besam, whether you do it with poison, ben beyad, however it is. Now, the question is, does Jewish law allow abortion in other cases? What about different situations? For some reason, the mom doesn't want to complete the pregnancy. That's a different topic. Meaning, I'm not saying it's allowed. I'm not saying it's not allowed. I am saying that this is allowed, right? Just because the Hakamim said this is allowed doesn't mean other things are not allowed, right? So I want to be clear about it, that Judaism is not, doesn't share the Catholic, I know in Catholicism, they're very strict about abortion, and they take an attitude that there's no situation where you're allowed to abort the life of the baby. Judaism is not like that. That I can tell you already from now, that we don't take this type of strict attitude, right? But again, there are certain things that Judaism would not permit, like, for example, post-birth abortion, what they call post-birth abortion, where the baby technically is born and then they don't save its life, and that's not allowed. But here, but here's the interesting thing: if the baby already, the head of the baby came out, that's it, and nogin bo. Even though you're doing it to save the mother's life, but in this case, the baby itself is considered alive, meaning that from the moment that the head is born, right, now there's another principle. She'en dohin nefesh mipnei nefesh. You're not allowed to kill one person to save another person, right? You understand the point? according to Jewish law, let's say in order to save my life, I need to kill somebody else. I can't do that. Somebody's about to shoot me. I grab the other person in front of me. Why did I grab him? I didn't want to hurt him, but another person was shooting, and I need to protect myself. So I grabbed him and I used it as a shield. That's not allowed. So in this case, once the baby is born, or even the head came out, you're saying, I'm going to kill the baby to save the mother. That's dohin nefesh, v'pnei nefesh. You can't value the baby or the mother, right? So that in that case, abortion would not be allowed. But as I said, before the baby is born, that's a different story because he's not considered a complete live human, because the life of the baby is connected with the life of the mother, right? He depends on the mother to live. So therefore, in that case, we don't say the principle of en dochein nefesh mipnei nefesh. The baby is like a limb of the mom. But once the baby's head comes out, that means he can now breathe oxygen independently, and he no longer requires his mom for life. And if bar minan, what? Yeah, if bar minan, God forbid, that leads to it. Now, thank God today we have medicine, we have different solutions for different problems. Baruch Hashem, this is less rare today, where the baby is almost born and the mom's going to die. But back then, Shalom Neda, we know the story of Rachel when she was giving birth to Binyamin, and it was a very difficult birth, and she realized she was going to die, and that's why she wanted to call him Ben Oni. Originally, the real name of Binyamin was going to be Ben Oni, the child of my suffering, or literally the child of my anguish, right? And then Yaakov Avinu didn't want to give the baby that name. He thought it would not be proper, so he calls him Binyamin, right? The son of the right arm, meaning a strong person. So, but there you see, Batekash Belita. So it was very common for a woman to die in birth. And that's why we say Friday night in the Bamim Adlikim, we say Ashalosh Averot Nashim Mitopet Sha'alilatan. There are three sins for which women can die when they're giving birth. Those are the three sins that if a woman is not careful about these laws, bar minan, it could lead to her death. Nida is the laws of nida. Hala, she doesn't take out the proper hala when she bakes bread. And adlakat haner, also the lighting the Shabbat candle, that's a misah that's obligatory upon her. So this is the idea of abortion. Any questions before we go to the next topic?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is it fair to say that since abortion, for instance, in the time of the Ramban, was not common, or maybe unheard of, I'm guessing, that therefore the halacha regarding abortion wasn't developed. Right.
It was developed in the context here, you see, which is a common context where God forbid the mother is dying, right? But you're right that the law of abortion is not a fully developed text. You're not going to find Hilchot abortion, right? The laws of abortion. It's very, very limited to the scope of what the reality was, and the reality was who did an abortion when they had to save the mommy's life. That is correct. Yes, yes, sir.
What if there's no physical danger to the mother, but she's not emotionally able to have a child? And
Right.
It happened as an accident.
Right.
Some sort of.
Yeah, so this would not be a justification for that. The only justification we have here, and it doesn't, and I want to be clear, let's distinguish two things. Does this law of Rodef cover the situation you said? No, it does not. Does it follow, therefore, that abortion, for whatever reason, let's say she doesn't want to have a child, that abortion is forbidden according to Jewish law? That's not clear to me either. I don't see any source, because we just said, En dochein nefesh b'pnei nefesh. We just said that if the baby would have been considered a living person, it would be forbidden to kill the baby. So we know that from the perspective of Jewish law, before the head comes out, it's not considered a separate person. It's considered a limb of the mom. So the idea that abortion somehow is murder, that's foreign to Jewish law. I'm not saying I want to be clear. I'm not saying I favor abortion. I find it personally, what happens in America is just beyond repugnant. I'm going to be honest. Some of the things they do in this country are just simply disgusting. Immoral, degenerate people perform what they call today abortion. Late trimester abortion is inexcusably grotesque. It should be relegated to horror movies. If a person needs an abortion, bar minan, first try, second try, maybe. But third try, Majnun. Okay, but having said that, Jewish law does not recognize a baby as an independent, living person. So therefore, whenever people say, "Oh, it's murder," it's not. It's just incorrect, and that's a type of assimilation that people take the Christian Catholic values, and yes, in Christianity it's murder, and they impute it upon Judaism. In Judaism, it's not murder, right? So on the one hand, I find it repugnant in many contexts, but on the other hand, I'm not going to be dishonest about the halakha. It's not murder, right? So if a person has a situation, go to consult with your local rabbi and figure it out, and if it needs, sometimes it needs to be done. Shalom nida. A question, yes.
Yeah. So why don't we look at that baby, even when the head is out, as similar to like a rodef? You see somebody that's about to kill somebody, this baby's head coming out further is going to kill the mother.
Yeah.
He's pursuing the mother
because he has no intent to do so.
How's the one?
Yeah, there has to be intent. Since there's no intent, he's not considered a rodef. The idea of him being a rodef in the mommy's womb is it's not. He's not really a rodef. If you read the halacha, right? Mipnei shehu kerodef.
Okay.
He's not really a rodef. I mean, he's a baby. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know anything. He has no consciousness, right? So kerodef ahareh. But once he's born, this legal theory that he should be treated like a rodef is inappropriate because he's an independent life form. So you can't just impute intentions upon this baby.
Right. You can't be vigilante, justice, trying to kill somebody who's trying to kill somebody. He's not doing it on purpose. Okay.
Exactly.
When you see somebody running and killing somebody, okay, there you can.
Right. Okay, now we're going to assess. So that's it for abortion. You just got the things that to summarize the law of abortion. If the mother's life is in danger, absolutely. If the mother's life is not in danger, it's not murder to kill a baby. We see that, right? Because we see the baby's not treated like an independent life form. So is it allowed? Is it not allowed? First, Jewish law is a bit ambiguous, but we're not Catholics. We're not Christians, right? And I would say that under certain circumstances, Bar Minan, I don't know what type of circumstances there are, but there are circumstances. But if it's going to be done, it should be done in the first trimester. That's not a halachic declaration, what I just said, first try. Halakha doesn't say first try, but I'm just saying as a matter of not being a moral degenerate, right? And acting in a gruesome way, do it as soon as possible if it needs to be done.
But you do find it repugnant, right? I mean, like for people to go out and have casual sex, and then they get pregnant, and they decide they want to abort the baby once there's a heartbeat, even.
Animals.
So why don't we make a takanah?
We should, and I think when the Sanadim comes, perhaps they will. And as you just said intelligently about 10 minutes ago, this wasn't an issue of Jewish law because it didn't really exist. Back then, it was common, and it's common in South American countries. And I'm sorry, to say it, but it's let's put it this way: it's not uncommon for one to give birth and throw the baby away. It's they're animals. I'm sorry. Okay, there's no other way of putting it. This is what happens. It's common in New York, by the way. Many times in New York, they discover. So these are animals. These are not. They don't have the image of God. They don't have Selam Elohim within them. People who act like this, and I think my feelings are clear on the matter. Yes, just in case anybody's ambiguous, I don't favor abortion. Yes, go ahead.
It's not considered murder in the halakha. It's still.
Exactly, that's my point. Meaning, even though I feel very strongly about the matter, as you can tell, I'm not going to twist the halakha to make it align with my feelings. It is not murder, right? It is morally degenerate. It's depraved. The people who do this are grotesque creatures. I have no mercy on these types of people. But it's not murder. That's right. We distinguish between Now, on the other hand, many of them, after the baby is born, they throw it. That's mamash murder. Right? Yeah.
That's terrible.
But again, there's a circumstance where.
Not after the baby's born.
I'm saying before.
Before, yes.
You find
out. Like I said, it has to be done in a compassionate manner. Right? We have rahamanut. So if something needs to be done, it should be done compassionately and for very specific reasons, whatever those reasons are. And I don't want to get into it. There are reasons, whatever. We understand it, but we do it in a compassionate manner with a little humility, right? Okay. So let's continue to the next topic now. So that was halakha tet. Now we're going to go to the topic, and this is the following question. So you are allowed to kill somebody Reuven is chasing Shimon. Reuven intends to kill Shimon. I can now interject and kill the Rodef. I can kill Reuven. Are there other similar situations? And the answer is yes. Let me read to you the halacha, and you'll see what it is. Reuven is chasing Shimon for the purpose of killing him. Okay, that's one situation. And by the way, like we just had like in New York, in some bar, I think in not far from Times Square, a Jets player got shot. So let's say a Jewish context here. These are whatever. But let's say in a Jewish context, let's say I see one Jew is about to shoot another Jew. It's fine. And if I have to kill him. It's very interesting. But if somebody did this in Israel, they'll charge the murder. They'll charge her. If you did this in Israel, you would be charged with murder. But the halacha is clear. So, but it doesn't have to be murder. It could also be a situation bar minan of assault, sexual assault, rape. Right. So somebody is assaulting somebody, and we consider rape to be akin to murder. So here's the pasuk. The pasuk says as follows: This is in Perashat Kiteseh. Perashat Kiteseh is at the end of the book of Devarim, and Moshe Rabbeinu is reviewing many of the laws of the Jewish people. One of the laws is that if bar minan, one person rapes somebody, she is considered. It's considered as if although he murdered her, right? It's considered. The law of rape is treated like the law of murder. So, and the pasuk says, just like one person overpowers another person and he kills him, he commits murder. So also is this thing when a man rapes a woman. So therefore, according to halakha, even if she's not married, even if she's just not one of the arayot. She's just it's permissible to save her life in this way. And if you can save her, it doesn't matter. You do what you do to save her. And if it means that you kill the rapist, you kill the rapist, right? So it's here we have two situations: one murder, one rape, where we say, if in order to save a victim of either of these crimes, I need to kill the criminal. It's permissible to kill the criminal. As we're going to see later on, it's not just permissible to kill the criminal; it's a mitzvah to kill the criminal. And it's not just a mitzvah to kill the criminal, but if you have the ability to kill the criminal, save the person's life, and you don't do it, it's an averah not to save the person's life. So we're going to see all that soon. But any questions before we continue?
Yeah, is it like after the fact or in the act of doing it?
No, after the fact, no. Good question. Right. After the fact, what's done is done. Catch him and bring him to court. At this point, the dayanim, because the premise of rodef is you're doing it not as an act of vengeance against a criminal, but as an act of mercy on behalf of the victim. So once the crime is already committed, that's it. The victim is the victim, right?
When it says what's the full pasuk or what's
right? That there was a woman. She was engaged kiddushin to another man, and somebody came and raped this woman. Right. So we say that this woman who's been raped, it's like you murdered her, right?
I'm just trying to think, this is talking about trying to kill somebody.
No. The pasuk is talking about a na'ara me'orasa that was raped by somebody. And then the Torah comments, this woman who was just raped is like a situation.
Wow, it actually does the analogy.
Yeah. Explicit in the Torah.
Is the Torah referencing anything in particular? Like an act that happened?
Right. I'll give you the full context of the Torah. The Torah is distinguishing two cases. There's a woman, two women got kiddushin. One woman got kiddushin, and she willingly violated her marriage, her status, and she was with somebody else. In that case, the woman would be liable, right? She made an avirah, as with the man. Okay. And then the second case is the woman was raped. Now you have to understand that in Arab culture, if a woman was raped, the woman is always to blame. So the Torah says that's not the way we are. Not only is a woman not to be blamed, but she's actually a victim of a horrific crime. We consider her to be the victim of rape. It's like the victim of murder. So if anything, she deserves our compassion, right? So in this way, the Torah is distinguishing itself from the pagan societies. Paganism barbarism has mostly been eradicated, at least as a norm in Western society. I'm not saying that there's no barbarism, there's a lot of it, but it's not considered acceptable, other than in the Muslim world, where it's acceptable to do these horrific things.
You saw it October 7th, they were doing it often.
Right, and the Muslims, it's not like you see like a Muslim preacher getting up and saying this is haram, or no. So the point is, and I'll get,
They outright support it. I just heard something.
Elohim Yishmor. So this is so that's why the Torah says, because in their culture, but Elohim Yishmor, and there've been so many cases in Israel, and not in Israel, in Yehuda v'Shomron, Gaza, where women are raped by a friend, by a relative, and then they kill her. And they're crazy people. These are the barbarians. All right.
So the guy he's innocent because she's the one who's guilty every single time.
What do you mean?
So the guy that raped.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, we know
he's
that.
innocent, but she's
Arab
guilty.
Yeah.
Meaning they don't say anything about him. Can't be.
They probably slap him on the wrist or something.
They have rape gangs in England where, whatever. Okay, I don't want to get into it. I'm sorry. Let's switch. Let's switch. I want
He's guilty.
Right.
I mean, he's considered innocent, right?
She shouldn't have
Yeah.
put herself out there.
You have also, you have the settlers that are going rapidly and attacking Arabs. They have no justification for that, because even if there was an attack, and they would go back and just.
All right. No. So wait. So that's an interesting. I think somebody asked me. I don't remember where. Somebody asked me. I don't trust the word the new media says about settlers. I just don't trust them. I don't trust the word they say. I'm sorry. They lie so much about Israel. Why would I believe a word that the media says about the settlers? From what I've seen in the settlers, they're beautiful people. Again, it could be that there's something, but I wouldn't believe the BBC or CNN or any of these. They lost all credibility. All right, let's continue. I want to get back to the halakha though. I feel like I don't want
It's
to.
actually coming from the Jewish sources.
Yes, exactly.
We have some issues. Whatever, we got to deal with it.
No,
Because
again.
now
Oh
actually-
yeah, you asked me. That's
You
right.
actually said I'm going to crack down because they're getting
No
out of
problem.
hand.
Again,
We know that.
I'm all
We
for
love
crack.
them, but there's some of them are a little
I'm
bit-
all for cracking down on criminals.
Yeah. because
100%.
that's-
But I want to be very clear.
Yeah.
I never justify criminal behavior
Exactly.
at all.
Yep.
I'm just saying I'm questioning what the media says. That's all. But if there was a criminal, I am all for justice, the proper justice, whatever it is. I'm not, in any way condone violence or act violently. Unless somebody bothers me really badly or talks in my speech. In that case, it's different. But all right, guys.
They don't know what precipitated these settler counterattacks. They're not attacks. They're counterattacks.
Right, exactly. I don't know what happened. All I'm saying is as follows: that Baruch Hashem, the Israel justice system is not merciful with these people, and therefore, if something happened, they would be dealt with. Okay, but let's continue. So that's the law of Rodef. It also applies in a situation like this, where a woman is being attacked, and you have an obligation to save her. והוא הדין לשאר כל העריות חוץ מן הבהמה, אבל הזכור מסירים אותו בנפש הרודף כשאר העריות. It can be a similar situation among the goyim. It wasn't uncommon for a man to attack a man. Similar type of law. אבל הרודף אחת בהמה לרבעה, או שרדף לעשות מלאכה בשבת או לעבוד עבודה זרה, אף על פי שהשבת ועבודה זרה עיקר הדת, אין ממיתין אותו. עד שיעשה. Very interesting question in the Gemara. The Gemara has the following question. Let's say a person wants to take an animal, and he wants to use the animal for avodah zarah. Interesting. Now, using the animal for avodah zarah is obviously one of the three averot, shi'arek ve'al yavor, right? One of the three sins that if somebody says, commit the sin, or I'll kill you, you say, kill me, I'm not going to do the sin. One of them is avodah zarah. So a person that wants to do avodah zarah on the animal, do you kill the person to save the animal from the avodah zarah that the person will do? The person is going to take the animal now and make shechita on the animal in honor of the virgin, whatever. Okay, okay. He's going to do avodah zarah on the animal. It's going to be tikrovet avodah zarah. is it permissible now to kill the person to save the animal? The answer is no.
Wait, why is it to save the animal, not to prevent Avodah Zarah being?
Right. No. So that's the idea of rodef, though. So that's the question. Meaning, do we say that now the animal is going to be subject to death? Let's say the person wants to use the animal in a way where now it's going to be avodah zarah, and then you're going to have to kill the animal. I'll give you an example. He didn't do shayta on the animal. He gave the animal as he worshipped the animal, or he sanctified the animal for idolatry. Now we have to kill the animal because it's avodah zarah. You have to destroy avodah zarah. So in that case, you would say, because the pasuk says, "V'lo yidbak b'yadecha me'uma min ha'cherem." You're not allowed to allow avodah zarah to exist. You have to destroy it. So now this animal is alive, and you're gonna have to kill it. If the guy succeeds in sanctifying the animal for avodah zarah, you're gonna have to kill the animal.
What if
Yeah, because it's lo yidbak. All avodah zarah has to be destroyed. Well, I'm sorry.
What if it's just avodah zarah for that one person? You
Yeah.
get rid of the animal, and then
Right? No. Once
What if
a
you kidnap a Jewish kid and do a pagan ritual without killing the kid?
But minan Elohim Yishmor. So first of all, wait, hold on. Let me first explain this. Let me make sure that you all understand. So let's say Shor HaNe'avad. He's going to worship the animal. He's going to make. So the original example I brought was not a good example. So let's say the example I'm going to bring is he's going to worship the animal. Shor HaNe'avad. Right? They used to worship animals. Whether in Hindu temples, they worship animals all the time. Meaning they have they have this one temple in India where they have rats. They have hundreds of thousands of rats, and they have like these beautiful basins filled with milk where the rats come to the basin and they drink, and they believe that
And of all things to worship, the big rat.
they believe that there's a reason for it, that the souls of their ancestors are in the rats. I wasn't saying that as a joke. It's not a punchline to a joke. When I said they believe that the souls of their ancestors and the rat, I believe that Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they're in Olam Haba. They're studying Torah. My father is with Rambam now. Shulchan Aruch. They're having an argument on something in the Gemara. They believe their ancestors are in the bodies of rats. Okay, I don't know what to say. Okay, so anyway, the point is, I don't know. I'm telling you what they say. I'm not, I remember seeing the Hindu. He was talking proudly about it. Can anybody imitate the Indian accent from the 7-Eleven? We believe the souls of our parents are in the what? Okay, I don't know if that didn't come out good. I don't know that. Okay, but anyway, so the guy wants to worship a cow. He wants to worship the cow. Now, according to Halakha, you have to be, the cow is now subject to death penalty. Okay, that's the way it works. So that now you understand the question of the Gemara? So the question of the Gemara is, do you kill the person to save the cow? And the answer is no. You don't have to do that.
Now, if the person is going to worship a stone, do you kill him for worship?
No, because here there's no rodef. In the case of the animal, you would say it's rodef.
Otherwise, you can take him to court. You can't kill him on the spot for doing a
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you can take him to court. As far as a person, we don't believe that you acquire ownership of a person so that you can change the legal status of a person, right? But Minan, there's things. All right.
So can I just clarify something?
Yes.
For instance, they have in this country, they have call them death cults. They do all kinds of crazy avodah zarah.
Yeah.
So are you supposed to or allowed to kill a person that's doing avodah zarah?
No. We could, if we had a court and we had a proper Sanhedrin, we would have the person taken to court and he would be he would have a trial. We don't believe. I'm sorry. Right. We believe. We don't do vigilante justice. We're very clear. The only vigilante justice is here because somebody else's life is at stake. And the question was, and do we perform vigilante justice to save an animal? And the answer is no. We would not do vigilante. We would catch the person, and we would, and listen, there were cases in the Gemara. Shimon ben Shatach, he once killed 80 witches in one shot. It was probably a death cult like that, where all the witches were put on trial and they were all executed. Right? These are sick people. Okay, let's continue. You had a question?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. They took revenge against him. Shimon ben Shatach was a few generations before Hillel and Shammai. They took revenge against him. He was the head of the Sanhedrin, what they did is they brought some witnesses who said that his son did an Averah for which it's death penalty, and they executed his son. But okay, back then sorcery and magic was very strong. There was a lot of ancient pagan cults, and Jews joined many of these pagan cults. So when Shimon ben Shattach did what he did, executing all the witches, but a witch is not, this is not the Salem witch trials, I want to be clear. These are people who perform idolatry. Okay, just to be clear, that's what we mean. But getting back to the point, they had people testify against his son, and they ended up executing his son. So he paid a heavy price, a heavy personal price, Chazit, for that. Be that as it may. Let's go to the next halakha now. Yeah, let's see.
What number is that?
Yod Bet. Okay. Okay. No, let's go to Halakha Gimel, because I want to try to finish the chapter. Kol hayachol lehasil be'evel me'evara ve'lo tara b'kach. Now, Halakha Yod Gimel. So this is an important principle related to vigilante justice. Again, if you need to kill the person to save somebody else, you may do so. Okay, we said that. If you don't need to kill the person, you're not allowed to kill him. So let's say I don't need to kill him. Let's say I had the opportunity, instead of killing the person, I could have injured him. I could have stopped him, right? Well, let's say even though I could have stopped the crime, and I didn't need to kill the rodef. Then you're a murderer. Why did you kill him? Oh no, he wanted to kill Shimon. Okay, and you had the opportunity to, to punch him one punch, and you would have knocked him out. Wanted to give him one punch? No, you gave him one punch and another, and you killed him. Why? You're not allowed to kill. That's shofech damim. You understand? Mm-hmm. So meaning, this is not a license for vigilante justice. This is not a license to not go killing. This is a license to do what you need to do to protect somebody else. Right? Having said that, it's an interesting law. Let's say, I'm sorry.
Is it shofech that if you kill someone who's hayab mitah, isn't it not considered the same thing as just killing a regular person?
And so first of all, he's not hayab mitah, he didn't do it. I'll give you an example. Let's say that Reuven is chasing Shimon. And let's say I'm a strong guy, and I caught up with Reuven. I don't need to kill him. I can just grab him with my arm and take him out. I don't do that. Not me, somebody else. Somebody else, instead of grabbing him with the arm, or he grabs him with the arm and then he kills him. Now, first of all, Reuven didn't commit the murder. So he's not hayab mitah. At this point in time, once I stopped him, nobody can bring him to court as a murderer. Maybe we'll imprison him, maybe we'll do something with him, I don't know what. But he's not a murderer, so that answers your question. But on the end, let's say now, so this big guy comes, and he captures Reuven, and he's holding him in a chokehold, and Shimon gets away. That's it, Shimon escaped. Now, whoever's holding him in the chokehold is not allowed to kill him. If he kills him, it's considered murder. But he's not going to be put on trial. Meaning, since he killed him in the process of saving the other person, even though he could have saved the other person just with the chokehold, but instead of doing the chokehold, he ended up breaking him, crushing his whatever. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. So I used to take kung fu, so I have very bad memories of what to do. Not pleasant, so I'm just going to leave it at that. So the point is, he could have saved him without doing something nasty, right? But he did something nasty anyway. He's a murderer, but he's not liable for murder. Shofech damim, he murdered, but he's not going to be liable for murder in court. You can't bring him to court because he did it in the context of trying to save somebody else. You understand the point?
He needs somebody else to be a witness to say he was going to kill him?
No. Even if there was a witness. Even if somebody came and said, what are you doing? It's true that he's a rodef. You have to try to stop him. You don't have to kill him. Leave me alone. This guy's a murderer, whatever.
You said that Shimon ran away, so...
Okay, no, so it was an imprecise example. I'm stopping Reuven, or somebody stopping Reuven, Shimon runs away because I stopped him. Right? Now, I could have stopped him by a stronghold, but instead I went all the way and I crushed him. Okay? Crushed his collarbone, punctured the lung, guy's dead. Okay?
So theoretically, let's say an Israeli police force, if there's a murder or even a terrorist, they should try to arrest him.
No, hold on. Right, no. This is in the context of one Jew, another Jew. If it's a terrorist, there's no questions. It's war. In the context of war, not meaning none of this applies in war. In the context, the laws of war are different than the laws of. This is civil society, right? So the laws of criminal law in civil society don't apply to not at all. A terrorist, it's a mitzvah to kill him. And have a say l'shem yichud kusha b'richu aleini mikayim esat shel mechiyat zecher Amalek. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you very much. That would be the ideal Israeli society. They should have the l'shem yichud for the soldiers. For those of you who say that Kabbalistic prayer. Okay.
I like this.
Okay.
Messing with the players. All right.
Yes. I could see it. By the way, you don't know that some of these guys are tough. They're really tough. Okay.
Your dollar?
Yeah. If you have the ability to save somebody, you didn't save him, that itself is an isur. It's isur deoraita. The pasuk says, "Lo ta'amod adam re'echa." Right? What was I studying? Yeah. I was studying the law. Yeah, there's a Gemara. Yeah, there's a Gemara in Moed Katan. So the situation is, I'll just give you an example. It's Moed Katan He Amud Aleph. So there's a situation where it's what?
By the white line.
Halfway down the page. Oh, okay. All right. So there's a situation where it's Chol HaMoed, and there's like some thorns in the road, and the Bet Din says, you know what? Let's not do it. It's Chol HaMoed today. Or there's a big pothole in the road. The roads are broken. So Bet Din, we don't want to fix it today. It's Chol HaMoed. We shouldn't do melacha. Let's be mahmirim. We'll do it after the holiday. And somebody gets hurt. Lo ta'amod adam re'echa. They get an avera. They're responsible for anybody who gets hurt. Is responsible. Oh no, it's Chol HaMoed today. We shouldn't do it today. Let's do the work after Chol HaMoed. Gemara says Lo ta'amod adam re'echa. Same pasuk as here. So the point is, we have a responsibility if we can save somebody, to save them. Again, I'm not saying what to do today because today's society is so messed up that I don't know how this would work. But as a good society, we would all feel this sense and obligation. A person sees his friend drowning. You have to try to save them if you can. Not everybody knows how to. If you don't know how to swim, don't try to save somebody drowning. You'll just drown yourself. But if you're a person who knows how to swim, or you have the ability to save him, maybe you could get a lifesaver, throw it to him, do what you can do to save him. Or you see another person getting mugged, and you can save the person who's getting mugged. Or you see that an animal is attacking someone. That's key. Means, and you have the strength, you have the ability to save the person. You either personally, or you bring other people, and these other people can save him. And you didn't, whatever, I'm busy, I'm on the phone, I'm doing my stuff. My father was once in a bus in Argentina, and he of course spoke Spanish fluently, and there was Chazid, there was a Hasidic guy who got on the bus, and he heard these Argentinian ruffians. This is probably back in the 40s, whatever. And there was a lot of Nazis in Argentina back then, a lot of anti-Semitism. He heard them talking that they're going to attack the Hasid. So my father immediately went to the Hasid, and he told him in Hebrew or in Yiddish, I don't know what language he spoke to him, but my father spoke Yiddish as well as Arabic. But the point is, he told them, get off the bus right now. They're about to attack you. He saved his life. Now, that's exactly this situation that you shama goyim, you hear goyim that they're planning to attack another Jew. Velo gila ozen havero, and you didn't tell this other Jew that he's going to be saved. You have to tell him, right? So any situation like this, you must let your fellow Jew know what's happening, and if you don't do it, it's isur deoraita. The Gemara goes so far as to say that a person sees a woman drowning in the water. This is a Gemara Masechet Sotah, and he has the ability to save her life. But he said, I don't want to because Yetzer Hara, she's a woman, I'm a man, I'll have to touch her, I don't know, whatever. So he goes away. So the Gemara, first of all, this is Lo Ta'amod Adam Le'echa, but then the Gemara calls him a Hasid Shoteh. This is an idiotic Hasidut. I mean, is a Misfat said to save her life? I say, no, I don't want to touch her. There's no Mechitza. No, you have to go and save her life. Chazita, she's drowning. The woman is good at drowning. You're not going to save her life because you decided you're going to be a Hasid now. Understand? So, yeah. All right.
We see with Mordechai, even for a boy, for his Rosh, he spoke to save his life when we heard the
Right, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, yes.
When Moshe Rabbeinu, when he killed the Egyptian, he was beating
Yes, that's a great example, by the
He was
way.
beating a Jewish person.
He was beating a Jewish
Beating him,
person.
not killing him.
No, he was beating him to kill him.
Beating him to kill him.
Yes.
So he wasn't guilty of murder,
No.
Moshe Rabbeinu.
That's a
right?
very good example. He brought the example in the book of Shemot, the Perashat Shemot, not book of Shemot. Perashat Shemot, the very beginning of the book of Shemot, where Moshe Rabbeinu sees an Egyptian, and the Egyptian was beating up a Jew. He was beating him to death. These people were savages. He was going to kill him. And Moshe Rabbeinu intervened, and he saved the Jew's life by killing the Egyptian. That's halakha. That is halakha. Lo ta'amod adam le'echa. Right? So what Moshe Rabbeinu did was absolutely correct. Gentlemen, I think next week, if you agree, if you enjoy this topic, we can continue. If you want to, I can do selections, Agadot and Midrashim from the Talmud.
That'd be great.
Yeah?
We can try.
Yeah, for a switch, we
We
can.
always goes back to this, we try.
Okay, let's do it. So next week, Agadot and Midrashim from the Talmud. Okay?
Let's give us a
Give it Rabbi Hanania.